and then lots of work to be done. No place to hang out or washing, and then I can't blame all on the sun. Oh no, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It is your host, David McCaig, and I'm here outside at Pier 55 at Northern Superior Brewing Company on this beautiful Sunday, July the 21st, 2019, and I'm with my friend, co-host, new member of the show of sorts, the one only from Sault Online ONNTV, Alex Parr. Alex, introducing you first here off the hop. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, like you said. It's clear to see why I'm here. I'm at the Pier for a beer.
There you go. You took that line. You didn't want me to say it.
No, I had to do it first. I had to do it first this time.
I like that. Now, we're here outside of Pier 55, where this is open on the weekends. You can check out the hours online or through their Facebook page. Northern Superior Brewing Company is right across the street. Obviously, we're inside the Bush Play Museum. Right on the cusp of the Hub Trail is Pier 55, and it's such a great spot. You know, they have food that they can serve, fish and chips, some good barbecued food. They have some great beer on tap. Obviously, while we sit here and enjoy a nice Northern Superior product, they have the Hefeweizen, they got the Red Maple, they got many delicious beers for options here at the Pier, and such great service as well. And they've been part of the Game Sports Show since 2018. So, Northern Superior Brewing Company, if you want to come have a great, delicious beer and be right outside and spend a beautiful day, or just come on by just to have some fun or just have a social brew with a family member or friend, come on down to the Pier. And you got to make sure you check out their washer toss tournament.
I was just about to say that too, yeah.
You know, you got myself and yourself, Alex, who are actually in a team called the Game Sports Show, obviously. Myself, yourself, Justin Heichel as well. And I did sign up Jamie Antonello and Dustin Gron, and even though to their non-knowledge that they do not know that they were signed up for it.
That was my next question. Okay.
But
perfect.
We are the main two guys that are going to be playing the wash touch tournament that they have here weekly on Sundays. We are not starting today. We're starting next week, but they have that. So if you want to be a part of winning some great prizes courtesy of Northern Superior Brewing Company, you can sign up for that. Just reach out to the Pier 55 on Facebook or Northern Superior, or just give them a call. And I want to give a shout out to other additional individuals a part of the show. Obviously, Scott Nason, who is our main board operator tonight. I am the assistant operator. I still haven't come up with a good term.
I'll give you that title.
You know, I'm doing the editing.
Assistant to the board manager.
I like that. I'm doing the editing, but I send it over to Scott. Scott does the final approval before posting on our Podbean page or on our website, which is thegamesportshow.podbean.com and thegamesportshow.com, respectively. You could be listening to the show on those platforms, or potentially you're listening through Facebook or Instagram, or through any of our sponsored share pages, including Northern Superior, or potentially through our new partner that was announced within last couple weeks, ESPN 1400, and Sovereign Communications, and obviously through Sault Online ONNTV. For this week, we have our show. This is the end of the week. We like to call it our Sunday show. We had a great week of sports. We had our Monday show, Cross the River, which was not inside the ESPN studios. However, it was brought to you by ESPN. We're still figuring out that schedule. Tuesday was ONNTV and Sault Online, where we had the Pelon twins stop in. It was myself and Alex there on scene. Wednesday, Justin Heichel and Jamie Antonello took over hosting duties for me for that night because I was playing baseball. And then today would usually be our Thursday show, is now on Sunday here at Pier 55. This upcoming week, tomorrow night we got a show at 6, Tuesday 6:30, Wednesday 9 p.m., then back here at the Pier again at noon next Sunday. So we're at our usual schedule, full force when it comes to sports right now. And it's busy, Alex.
Busy.
Even though it's summer, people wonder, what are you going to talk about? What content do you have? The NHL's done. The OHL's done. Junior's done.
Sports don't stop.
Sports do not stop, especially this offseason. It's been a dream of an offseason, as we've said.
NBA, NHL, thank you guys so much for giving us this content.
So much content. And obviously we have a lot of local guests that are going to be on the show, that have been on the show, and that we plan to have on the show before they leave. So, or even potentially throughout the year. We got lots of guests lined up, a lot of big things happening for the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show. For tonight's show, we're going to have our introduction portion here, and then we're going to jump into some local discussion in terms of football. We got to give some right-away reaction on some football that happened locally, and also we are going to jump into some MLB chat about Vlad Guerrero getting his first Grand Slam before we go to break. And then after our break, we have Frankie Palazzese coming on the show. Now, if nobody knows who Frankie Palazzese is, you can give him a quick Google search right now. He played hockey in the OHL. He played for the Sudbury Wolves. He played for the Kitchener Rangers. He played over in Kingston. So he had a pretty good lengthy OHL career. He was a good friend of Sioux native Zach Torquato. They played together over in Wheeling in the East Coast Hockey League, which have a lot of familiarity with the Sioux, especially with the Burtons and everything of such there. So Frank Palazzese was a great radio individual, actually. The stories that he wasn't really able to tell, but he did, obviously get into some elaborative points about what he's currently doing now, what he did when he played hockey, and everything. Such a great overall interview, about 22 minutes there with Frankie that I had that was pre-recorded on Thursday is when I got that on. So we're going to have that on this show because it hasn't been aired yet to points. I'll be in part 2. Part 3, myself and Alex, we will jump into hockey discussions. To some update, we have James Neal and Lucic both got traded for each other. Alberta making a trade. All these rival teams making trades. The Leafs and Senators did it earlier in the offseason. Then obviously we're jump into Ron Francis, who is now the 32nd GM of the National Hockey League, which makes 2 general managers from the Sioux. So myself and Alex are going to get into brief discussion about that, as we are going to save the major content of that for our Tuesday show from ONNTV. So Alex, let's jump right into the show. Local football. Sad day for the Game Sports Show and also for local football and potentially for the varsity SaberCats.
So what you're telling me is it wasn't worth it to miss Sports Center then for your baseball?
It was not.
What happened? Come on, talk to me.
It's so varsity, the SaberCats lost.
Just going the complete opposite direction. I thought we were talking about your baseball.
Oh, the baseball. Okay, no, we can go into that.
Oh, okay.
We'll go into that first.
We'll give you your spotlight.
The games, okay, I like that. Okay, the Game Sports Show baseball team, we ended up losing 2 or 3 this week.
Ouch.
Yeah, so, but we ended up winning on Thursday. We beat the Sioux College team 10-5. It was called by lightning. I pitched 2 2/3 innings.
How'd you pitch?
I had 5 strikeouts. Apparently, I thought I only had 4, but I had 5 Ks.
But
I let 4 earned runs.
Okay.
And that was 2 2/3 innings pitched. Never really pitched more than an inning in my life. Never mind pitched.
5 Ks, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty nice outing. And then I also, when I played, I was 3 for 4 with a couple ribbies, which was nice. But we ended up winning 10-5. It was a fun game. It was, they called up some guys that were spares, that from other teams because they were short some guys. Sioux College is a new team in our league, and there's a lot of learning there, but it's good to see Greg Lefebvre, the one out there, Jeff Mills, who is a big part of the baseball community, especially with the men's league, who does the Facebook page, the SMBA. So the Game Sports Show Renegades fell this week. They only won 1 game out of 3, so we did fall out of second place. We are now in third place, and with a game in hand, do the Donuts and Rangers have, but we are still in third by a game back.
How many teams in the league?
6.
Okay. You're right in the middle of the pack.
I think I would say 6. Got the Game Sports Renegades, you got the Hellcats, you have the Rangers, you have the Bandits, you have Sioux College. And I almost feel like I'm missing a team.
Yikes.
So no, I don't know. I think that's 5. That would be 5.
Yep.
So that's the local baseball recap. You can follow local baseball on SMBA. And I didn't know where you were going with that at first. That's actually a good spot to start with. There's a local baseball there. Good, nice, light discussion to know that I actually threw a frickin' pitch.
Yeah, I had to give you innings. Time. I had to give you,
had to give me that
spotlight.
I like that. I actually had to do innings. Said my girlfriend didn't come watch. There was no one in the stands.
Ouch.
There was no one in the stands.
I was there at my big sign.
That was you in the back with our banner that we don't have up here today.
Yeah, or last week.
Yeah, or last week.
But we have it, we swear.
Yeah, we do. It's nice and clean right now. It's perfect new condition.
Never used.
Forgot to give it to Heichel on Wednesday.
Nice.
Forgot to bring it Tuesday just because. Forgot to bring it last Sunday and forgot to bring it this Sunday. I'm literally 0 for 5 on the banner.
You just want to keep it nice. You don't want to ruin it.
It's brand new. I want to be great live on scene this year.
Okay.
That's
what we're
my excuse. I promise it will be at Sports Center this Wednesday. I promise it'll be here next Sunday.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, promise.
Wow.
But we'll jump into the football now, though.
Okay.
This will be a bonus in the pocket segment that we usually do on our Wednesday show, and we also do it on our Tuesday show, is where we do the in the pocket segment of the show. However, we're going to give a little bit of discussion for this, just a little news and update. The Varsity SaberCats and the Game Sports Show's own Matt Primo, Jamie Antonello, and Dustin Gronin, all part of the Varsity SaberCats, lost in overtime to the Brantford Bisons in the OFC playoffs in the semifinals. It was, it was 31-24 was the final, and you lose by a touchdown overtime. You lose by 1, obviously, when you lose in overtime. But it was an interception by London Dawson on the SaberCats' subsequent possession that sealed the Brantford win. So just a little leak from there, that in some messages that I got from some of the guys, from Matt, Jamie, and Dustin. So we're going to get into full reaction of that this week on Tuesday and Wednesday with all 3 of those individuals, Matt, Dustin, and Jamie. But it's a sad loss for them. They had such a promising year. This was the year that we thought that the SaberCats were going to take that step into a championship, especially with some great MVP talent, including Tyler Brecken, Jurich, Joya. Those guys had some big years. Tough loss.
Yeah, but I mean, for the guys that are going to come back next year, they're going to be that much more hungry. To be that close to coming number one and an overtime loss just ahead of the playoffs?
Yeah.
Ouch. But it can go one of two ways. One, they can mope about it. They can sulk and say, oh, shucks, we should have had it. Or they can go and say, we're better than that. We're going to prove it. And then you'd see that next game.
Like that. I know Jamie, Matt, and Dustin were kind of keeping the comments to a minimum. I know they're kind of, it's fresh right now as this game just happened yesterday. They're at Superior Heights, so Brantford does move on, but the Varsity SaberCats season does come to a halt and a stop as they'll have to wait till next year to hopefully get that championship that they've been desiring. Remember, at the beginning of the season, they were sitting at Sports Center giving coach and panel member Jamie Antonello heck, and when are we going to win a championship? This year wasn't the year, but they should not hang their heads. They should be happy about the way they played Saturday. They should be happy with the way they played this year in general. And as you said, a lot of promise going into next year as long as they can return some of these guys, or if not all of them. Now, the junior varsity SaberCats did win. The junior varsity SaberCats having a very strong season are Jim Monaco's junior varsity SaberCats. It was Michael Nicoletta that had 5 touchdowns.
What?
5 touchdowns, okay? Now, he ran for 283 yards.
That's almost as good as 5Ks in SMMBA.
And 5 touchdowns on just about 20 carries as they beat Forest City Thunderbirds 49-26. Now, these are stats that are just kind of brief that were sent to me in a quick text message from our panel members there on the Game Sports Show, Matt, Justin, and Jamie. So that's kind of brief. We're going to get full, accurate, and full reaction this Tuesday and Wednesday, as I mentioned. But they get the win. Big win for Varsity. They're having an impressive year, those young cats.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think both programs are having an absolutely fantastic year. I haven't seen this much coverage around SaberCats, or maybe not coverage, but excitement around them. Both, like, even being eliminated by the Bisons isn't something, like you say, you should hang your head on. Great season for the junior guys as well, and it's good to see their season still rolling on.
Definitely, and scored 5 touchdowns.
What a monster!
What is this? Is this rookie mode? It was on Madden 20. It was
99 overall.
99 overall, custom attributes. Speaking of those ratings, we talked about that earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the NHL ones to come out.
Oh, they do it really slowly. Usually they'll do their top 50, I believe, right? They'll do 10, and then the next 10, and then the next 10, and then the next 10.
Yes, they will. They will.
I'm curious to see where Marner is.
Marner will probably be on the free agent pool by this time. Frig. His comments are pretty interesting. We might get some bonus discussion on that. We didn't mention that off the top because we wanted to save that for a little surprise.
We wanted to
save that for Tuesday
that stuck around to this far in the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you get that. Thanks for sticking with us.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have other news with quick in the pocket. I'm not going to give too much into it because, as I mentioned, we talk about more Tuesday and Wednesday. But the Sioux Steelers also got a win in North Bay last night. And Shane Masahevich, my girlfriend's half-brother, was pretty excited about getting his first career start.
Oh, nice.
And was giving us some feedback. So I'm going to save that content from Shane to more on Tuesday. I'll give him a shout-out on our ONNTV and our Wednesday show. But as I said about 4 or 5 times that we're going to be saving that content for. But the Steelers get a win, and they climb back to 500, which is still promising for the Steelers, too. They got a good team.
Can't complain at 500, especially if you worked your way back to it. Take a win with momentum. Keep doing it again.
Got to keep going. Now, football. We're moving on from football. We're going to kick the touchdown. The pad is good on our In the Pocket segment.
Nice.
I
like that. Okay. The transition.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball.
Okay.
I know we talked local baseball with the Game Sports Show and how we had a rough week. The Blue Jays haven't really had a rough last couple games. They got some wins under their belt. They did play the Red Sox where they dropped 3 out of 4. Obviously against the Red Sox, very good ball team. Blue Jays not so good because they're rebuilding. But now Marcus Stroman. Okay, this is what happened on Friday. Marcus Stroman pitched a shutout ball, just pitched over 6 innings, struck out just about 5 or 6. I don't have the exact numbers.
Sounds about right, though, yeah.
But Marcus Stroman does that. The next game, Vlad Jr. gets a grand slam.
That's just makes me want to just stick it to them so much. For people that said Vladimir Guerrero Jr. shouldn't be on that team when he was called up the first time, to anyone that said that, this right here just should stick it right to him. Just say,
stick.
He deserves to be on this spot. and so many more to come. One of many, many, many for the blue and white going forward.
Oh, grand salami time.
Right?
Oh, that was some absolute power from the 19-year-old. The guy is built like a 30-year-old man. He's literally a truck. And the power behind that swing, we saw it at the Derby. We know what the power is. We know what it is.
I love watching the videos of his BPs and just hearing the crack off the bat. It's just the perfect baseball hit every time.
Now, is he going to be Mike Trout? No, I don't. I think Mike Trout might be the best baseball player ever in terms of his build. If he would have played in the earlier days, I think he would be better than Babe Ruth was. I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of Mike Trout. I think Mike Trout is the best all-around baseball player that we have seen play baseball.
Your typical athlete in Babe Ruth's era was a little bit different than the typical athlete in Mike Trout's era. So to be dominant in this sport is a little bit different than being dominant in the 30s and 40s.
150%. Yeah. Now, he gives praise to Vlad all the time. But if you remember when he first played in the league, he was sent down. He was sent down his first year. He was struggling. They said, go finish the year in AAA. He came up the next year and he just dismantled all the critics, dismantled the opponents. It was gross, and he still does it to this day. He's still an absolute beast. Vlad, I don't see him getting sent down, obviously, because of media and just because of the way he's playing. But is he going to be Mike Trout? No, I can't say that he's going to be Mike Trout, but he is going to be a top 3 player in this MLB in the next year or two. And he is the most promising prospect in baseball. He's rated number 1 prospect in baseball for a reason, and that is rightfully so. You got Biggio there. I'm a big fan of Bo Bichette.
I think it's time for him to come up.
I think it is, and I know when September has their 40-man roster expansion. I think you're going to see him get the call up there for that, along with some other guys. The deadline's just around the corner. Myself and Alex talked about that earlier this week. So my questions to you, Alex. Marcus Stroman, was that his last start? Because certainly everyone hugging him certainly made it seem that way if that was his last start. Secondly, is the Vlad to Mike Trout comparisons really too far-fetched? I know they're two different positions, but in terms of athletic presence and presence on the field.
For Stroman, I feel like it has to be his last game. He's not going to be in the mindset as if that wasn't his last game going into another one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think the next game, whether he gets blown out or pitches a perfect game, is going to change too much just based off that. No. For Vlad, I don't think it would be impossible for him to be as good as Mike Trout, but I think it would be very, very difficult at the same time. They've got the same power, but I like, and it could just be because Trout's been in the league a little bit longer. I love Trout's defensive game, and I think that's something that you'll see Vlad shape into a little bit more in the next few years. He's only, 19, 20 years old?
19 years old.
Right. Give him, most rookies in the MLB don't start till 23, 24. That's a feat in itself. So if you can play with the best players in the world at that age, there's something to you, and you're going to develop even further than what he's doing now.
And he has such great hair.
What great hair.
Such nice hair.
Right? Those locks. Those luscious locks.
Luscious blonde locks. Start calling them goalie locks.
Ooh. I don't think that's a mistake. I don't think
he'd like that at all. Vlad Jr. would not like that. No. But, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Marcus Stroman, and I talked to many fans that are a part of the obviously Stroman fanism. Big fans. Stroman fans. Fanism. That's a thing. Fanism.
No.
Fanism?
No.
Not going to make it a thing?
No.
But fanism? Whatever. But the thing is, Stroman, you have Stroman right now who I'm a big fan of. Okay, I'm a follower. I think he's an amazing competitive athlete. I really do.
A Stroman fanatic? Maybe that
was
we'll
go with fanatic. For? Yeah, okay, we can go with that. I thought there was something I saw one time on Bleacher Report, fanism.
I don't like that word. Even if that is a real word, I don't like it.
Okay, we won't let that stick. Okay. We'll erase that I said that. But okay, fanatic for sure. Mm-hmm. Stroman, he's just, I don't like everyone's trying to push him out. I wish they would have been able to keep him because of his age. He's still at a young age. Yes, the Jays are 3 to 5 years out at least from being competitive again. So I see why, because 3 to 5 years, Stroman's 30, 31, 32, right? It's maybe he's not the same pitcher. But he was literally one of my favorite pitchers of all time with the Blue Jays next to the Doc. Obviously, no one ever beats the Doc Holliday, as we saw many tributes online this week with Doc. But Stroman being pushed out, sad to see, but I think it is going to be his last start.
Do you think they're going to sell out when he makes his return?
Yes.
Sell out.
sell out, and a standing O.
Oh, yeah, standing ovation.
Standing
long standing ovation.
Yes, he's been there since Mount Crushmore days.
He was there before him and after them.
Yes.
And he seems to be one of the only ones that was there.
And he loved being there, and he loves being there just in general, but he knows he's not a part of the plans, and when you know you're not a part of the plans, it's uncomfortable to be there.
Yeah, he just wants to move on. Let's just get the ball rolling on wherever I need to be, and let's start focusing on that.
But one thing I'll say before we close our topic and go to break, I don't know if I trust Shapiro yet.
No.
Or
I think this
Atkins.
Stroman deal will really cement people's idea of loving or hating them.
Yeah.
I feel like this Stroman deal will set the precedent for people's thoughts on them.
They did some all right deals with Hap and with getting in Galvis, but they did not get Biggio. They did not get Vlad. They did not get Bo. All those prospects. That was Alex Anthopoulos.
Gotta miss double A, man.
And people were doubtful of Alex Anthopoulos, but his scouting was great. He had great prospects. And I don't know if I trust Shapiro going up to Cashman on the Yankees or going up to the Phillies GM and taking the best prospects. I don't know if I trust him yet, but prove me wrong.
Please prove us wrong.
Dave McCaig, Alex Parr outside of Pier 55 here at the Pier.
For a great beer.
I love that. That is definitely sticking. Here on the Game Sports Show, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the one only Frank Palazzese comes on the show. As I mentioned, if you don't know Frank Palazzese, give him a quick Google. There's a lot of information. He is a great guy. He's a new friend of mine. He's a great radio entertainer, and I wish he could have gone into more stories because it would have been very spittin' chicklets-like, but we're going to save that for when him and I have a beer for some archive takes on the Game Sports Show one day. But we're going to take a break. Frankie's going to join us. Don't go anywhere. The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's your host, David McCaig, here for the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, powered by Sault Online, ONNTV, and ESPN 1400, and Sovereign Communications here in Sault Ste. Marie. Today, I got a great and fun guest with me. Frank Palazzese, and I did not butcher that last name to everyone's surprise, potentially. I want to say, Frankie, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Dave.
It's if anyone, just a quick little Cole's notes here. Myself and Frankie got kind of acquainted through a mutual friend of ours, Zach Turquato, or AKA that we like to call him Torque. And I know you guys were teammates briefly when it was back in Wheeling, but just to kind of today, we're just going to get into kind of your background and what your experiences are. I know you had some experience in the OHL with Kingston, Kitchener, Sudbury, and then the ECHL with Wheeling. Then you had a brief stint with Wilkes-Barre in the AHL. Just if you want to give the listeners some background story on Frankie Palazzese and what you've done and what you're currently doing now.
Yeah, so you touched on pretty much where I played. It shows I just had a little stint, obviously playing up there in Wilkes-Barre in the AHL. In 2 years pro, I think I was called up and sent down between maybe I'd say 8 to 12 or 13 times. I don't know exactly, but I was a little bit like a yo-yo up between Wheeling and Hamilton in the first year, and then in the second year, Wheeling, Wilkes-Barre, Binghamton. It was kind of all over the map, and then after 2 years of riding the bus and living out of a little duffel bag, I decided that route wasn't for me, so I stopped playing. And being in a big city, obviously in Toronto, where I live, I decided I'm gonna give a shot at opening up a goalie school. And obviously, hockey is huge in the city, so I did that, and it started slow, and it really started to pick up, and now we're full steam ahead with that. So that's where I am right now.
See, and I think, and I don't know if you are certainly now, but you were a part of the varsity team as well. They're doing goalie coaching. So last year I joined on the men's
U of T Varsity Blues men's hockey team staff as their goalie coach as well.
Oh, awesome. So you definitely got that experiences for sure. Now, I'll say right now, if flat out ask right off the hop, do you miss playing? Like, obviously, I know you're still part of the game, right? You're still helping out and be part of your goalie school, coaching, etc. But to be in that moment, is that something that you miss, or is it something that you kind of just look back at a proud memory and you look at the next chapter of your life?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, playing-wise, I don't miss it at all, which, I mean, I don't know how someone could say that after playing for so long like I did, but I don't miss it at all. I mean, I'm around it all the time, and I've never felt the desire that, like, maybe I retired too early or I should have kept playing since I stopped playing so young. I'm so happy with my decision. I like the business side of hockey that I'm on a lot more than the playing side. So no, I don't miss it. What I do miss is obviously the dressing room and like we mentioned, Torch, being in the room with those guys and celebrating a big win after, which was probably is everybody's favorite part. And I do miss that, but. Once all the boys are back in the summer, we kind of recreate that for ourselves. So, do I miss playing? No, but yeah, I just miss the dressing room atmosphere for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty easy answer there. Definitely time with the boys, I guess people like to call it. But in the OHL, you played with Kingston, Kitchener, Sudbury, as I mentioned. You had 60 games played 1 year with Sudbury. With your OHL experience, is there a particular city that you, between those three, that were kind of, was the best opportunity for you or the best fit? I know you played more games with Sudbury, obviously had some strong numbers with Kitchener, and I know you had to make your trek up to the Sioux, so kind of a two-part question. Between those three cities, what did you find was the best fit for you, and do you have any recollection or memory of coming up to play here in the Sioux?
Yeah, so your first question, I mean, listen, all three of those cities are fantastic cities. I mean, I love Kingston. I had the pleasure of Doug Gilmore being my head coach, which not many people could say, which was awesome. Kitchener was great. I was partnered with John Gibson, who's one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League now. So that was a good experience too. My favorite city was definitely Sudbury, though, by a long shot. I love the northern feel, the minus 45 degree temperatures when you jump in your car and look at the thermometer, the snowbanks on the side that are taller than people. So you know what, the city was good. It was a pretty pro-dominant Italian city too. Obviously, my background's Italian. And then, like you mentioned, I played pretty much every game there, which obviously when you're in the OHL you want to play. So that obviously helped make Sudbury a good experience. But I love the city. I still go back to Sudbury probably once every couple months for a weekend now. So yeah, Sudbury for sure. But I do remember playing in the Sioux. I remember, I think at the time I was there, it was the SR Center, which was a pretty nice rink. And I remember we used to have our pregame meal in the food court across. I think there's a little mall across from the arena there.
That's right.
We used to have our pregame meal in the food court. But you know what? Other than that, we were just touch and go there. We never really stayed over there. So not too many memories of the Sioux.
So that's the big thing is when we have individuals that come up from Southern Ontario, like yourself being from the Toronto area, you come up to Sudbury and so these snowbanks here are absolutely ridiculous. It's the same thing here as it is in Sudbury, and the accidents that are caused are absolutely, unbelievable. And the food court that you mentioned, the mall, that it is still there. It still needs a lot of renovation still, as you probably remember from being there. It's a pretty, and I mean this with respect to my city that I love so much, the Sioux, but that
mall's pretty dusty. We need to, in the words of Dust, we need to improve that mall. But they did improve the food court in 2017, I believe. They put some new chairs and whatnot, but that's pretty much about it. So now transitioning from the OHL, obviously you played in Wheelie, and that's how, you know, our friend of ours, a mutual acquaintance, Zach Torquato, and you met. You had two, you know, great seasons with 41 games played and 39 in Wheeling. You know, a lot of good individuals from the Sioux have been a part of Wheeling. You know, you have Burton that was there, both Burtons. You have Torquato that was there. And obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but believe Paul Bissonnette even played there at one time too. So
yeah,
he did. So,
right.
And everyone knows Paul Bissonnette from Spittin' Chicklets and Barstool and whatnot, and those funny podcasts that he has going to people's houses and telling stories. So now your experience in the East Coast, you know, I've been told at one point from a pro that he felt that the OHL felt more luxury or treated him better than the East Coast. Now, I'm not going to flat out ask you that question because that individual came out and flat out said it. But was there a difference in terms of good or bad for the East Coast at all, or is it truly the one step up from the O and you can tell that?
You know what? I mean, I guess it depends. That's a question that is completely answered based off of where you played. So I could say from Wheeling, my perspective, I mean, I played only in Wheeling in the East Coast, and they treated us like we were in the NHL. So it was definitely a step up from the OHL. Now the OHL treats you good, but Wheeling, I mean, it was unbelievable. And people who play on other teams, they go to Wheeling and they say to me, "Oh, how the hell did you like playing in Wheeling?" Because I tell everybody I love it. But I mean, when like I said about when we played in the Sioux, like when you're touch and go, you're there, you see the just around the rink, and then you leave. You don't live there, so you don't know how it is and the people and the city and everything. So, I mean, Wheeling, they treated us unbelievably, like bus rides, flights when we needed flights, team meals, whatever it was, they were real good. Our living conditions were in Torques, lived together. I think our place, it would be hard to find a better place in the East Coast or the American Hockey League than they gave us. They gave us a massive 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom loft, that kind of overlooked the city, walking distance from the rink, all brand new, renovated. So I had not one bad experience in Wheeling at all. So like I said, I guess it depends where you play, because I do have a lot of buddies who play in the East Coast, and they say exactly the same thing, but for Wheeling, that's definitely not the case.
See, you know, it sounds like with the loft and the situation there, I can see where potentially the after parties might have been after the games, after a big W.
Yeah, you know what? After a big W, I think guys would leave the cars at the rink, and I don't know if it was a walk or a sprint right over to the loft over there, and it was a big cleanup the next morning for me and Torques.
Did you put Torques to work, or did Torques put you to work?
Yeah, you know what? Torques was always up. I mean, being the old dog that he is, he was always up bright and early. So I used to catch the sleep, wait for him to clean up, and then I'd come peeking out after, and he'd usually even have breakfast on the table.
And that's what I recall with Torque, definitely being an early riser for sure. And that's how I would be. I'd get up, I'd be like, "Oh, you're done cleaning? Oh, sorry, I didn't even know you were cleaning yet."
Yeah, I would lay there. I would hear him. I had a little window above my bed, so I would peek out the window. I'd see it just as he was about to finish, and then I'd come storming out to try to help him.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I didn't know you were done. Jeez, I didn't even hear you doing it. Why didn't you wake me up? Jeez. Dave McCaig here alongside Frank Palazzese, talking some good old hockey chat here on the Game Sports Show. And now, as you mentioned, you're doing the with goaltending and school, coaching, everything of such. And I did see some YouTube videos of yourself making an unbelievable save in Kingston. You know, I know Torque kind of directed me in that direction to look at some of your videos and whatnot. And you have this, when you're in that predicament, you got to talk about this one save. I know you're not going to remember it, you know, or maybe you do. You might do that. A stick save. I can't recall who you were playing because I was trying to pull the video while we were here talking. But when you're down and out like that, and you spread across and you make a save with your stick, you got to tell our listeners here: is that luck? or is that pure skill? And be as honest as you want. If you had all that skill to be able to do that, or if you knew you were going to do that, or if you got to be blunt, go ahead. But did you ever have the kind of situation when you're in that, you're like, oh, you're down and out, but you're like, oh, I'm going to make this save?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think it's pure luck, to be honest. I mean, I know the exact save just because it's on YouTube there. I think it was against Brampton. And I was completely overcommitted to the shooter, and they backdoored me there. And I mean, you just flail your stick in the air, and the puck hits it one out of every maybe 30, 40 times, and then it ends up a YouTube clip, and everybody goes crazy about it. So, no, that's pure luck. I mean, there's no way that you could plan for that little puck to hit 5 inches of a blade there. But that's pretty good save, though, I think.
No, I did pretty wild. Pretty wild. Couple more things, and we're going to go kind of in the directional path here of what your opinions are. I know the shootout, as there was obviously some YouTube videos when you were a part of the shootout and whatnot. In terms of the shootout yourself, okay, and this is not a knock to the NHL or anything of such, but are you a fan of the shootout? Like, when you were a goalie, was it like, you know what, I love that this is implemented in the National Hockey League, the East Coast, OHL, whatever league you're in? Or are you like, okay, maybe I want it to end in a tie, or would you rather have continuous overtime? But you being a goalie, imagine playing that 3-on-3 nowadays. I can just imagine the pressure that the goalies feel. But the shootout would apply, it seems like, more pressure because it's just one-on-one. You know, it's just you against the shooter. So overall, do you agree with the shootout? And how did you feel when you were a part of the shootout?
Yeah, you know what? I would like to see continuous 3-on-3 overtime. I mean, I don't think it would ever get to a point where the 3-on-3 would go long enough where it would get out of hand, just because there's so many grade A chances in 3-on-3. So I wasn't a fan of the shootout personally. I mean, there were a lot of games that were decided, like important games that were decided based off of pretty much what's a skills competition and who's got better forwards, let's say, better skilled guys. So I'd like to see even the NHL try to steer away from that and just go to more of a continuous 3-on-3. Like, I mean, I think 3-on-3 for the fans is way more exciting nowadays than a shootout, especially in the NHL. It's just back and forth action. They got their top line guys out there. I mean, why not just let that run for 6-7 minutes rather than stop the game after 5 and just do a skills competition? So I wasn't really a fan of it, but I mean, if you ask guys I played with, it might have been because my save percentage in the shootout wasn't too great either, so I could be biased there.
I know you had some good celebrations though after win, right? You must have made that big save. You did a little fist pump.
Yeah, I did. I did. I got some. I think there's some clips up on Facebook or YouTube somewhere of some good sellies after a big shootout win.
Oh, you got to have a big selly, absolutely. Now, a couple more points before I let you go, Frankie. Obviously, you being that on the other side of the game now with the coaching and with the school, what is your particular advice or your even go-to quote to let kids know of? You know, obviously, you being a part of playing the major junior ranks and the semi-pro ranks, you know, obviously, kids look up to individuals of such. I know here in Sault Ste. Marie, it doesn't matter what tier you played. Heck, you could have played for the Thunderbirds, Beavers, or Eagles here, which is NOJHL teams, and you're still looked up upon from people remember you played, you know. Obviously in Toronto, bigger area, I know a lot of people are playing, but when you play at the major junior rank and semi-pro rank, you got eyes on you all the time. You're always representing an organization. Even now with your goalie school and with coaching, you know, you have that kind of reputation that you're always trying to maintain. So what kind of advice would you want to give to kids or whatever who want to be a goaltender? Never mind just a hockey player, because that's hard in itself to reach your dreams, obviously. But in terms of a goaltender, which is even 2 positions you cover per team, so it's harder, people say, obviously, to be a goaltender than it is to make the team as a player, obviously. But what kind of advice would you provide?
Yeah, you know what? Speaking just the goaltending position, I think it's a real high-risk, high-reward position to play. I mean, obviously, you said there's only 2 spots per team, which makes it challenging, and there's thousands of goalies, so it is hard to crack through. But, I mean, it is hard to crack through at any position, obviously, with the amount of kids who play hockey. So advice I would give is, I mean, high-risk, high-reward, but it could be the most rewarding experience when you become a goalie. If you just work your ass off the entire time. I mean, guys, all of my top goalies that I train, whether it's at the college or OHL or junior or even little kid GTHL level, all the best guys are the guys who just work like absolute animals. And it does sound a little bit cliche and work hard, and everybody says it, but I mean, just being on the coaching side now, seeing a kid same age, same level, a kid who works and has high intensity and works his ass up, and a kid who's kind of just out there just going through the motions and just a show face on the ice. And there is such a huge difference. And so my advice would be, if you're going to do it, make sure that you want to do it. Your parents don't want you to do it, and you've got that drive from yourself within to want to take it to the next level. Otherwise, I just don't think it's worth it.
That is actually some great advice, and it's not too cliche. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that was a pretty good answer. You know, you have, and for listeners out there who are, you know, expecting myself and Frank to share some stories about some personal and funny stories, we're not going to be sharing those today because obviously we have policies and procedures to follow on both ends here. But I know one day myself and Frankie, because I'll be going to Toronto to do a lot of coverage with certain coverage on behalf of our partner with ESPN. I know if you ever are in the same bar as me and Frankie, I'm sure that you can hear some pretty hilarious stories at that time. You know, we'll save those for the archives of the Game Sports Show. I like that. But my last question to you is, I like asking guests of all kinds, kind of a two-part opinionated questions before I let you go. One, your favorite NHL team, actually, which is right out of the blue. And second one I'm going to ask, I like to put you on the spot for your professional opinion, and that is Mitch Marner. Right now, while you and I are talking, okay, it's July the 19th. Obviously, we've expressed to listeners this is a pre-recording before getting aired live or through Sault Online and ESPN, our partners, all of our sponsors. Does he stay in Toronto or does he go? Do the Leafs potentially trade a generational talent? So those are my two-part questions. Favorite NHL team and your professional opinion about Mitch Marner.
So favorite NHL team is I mean, obviously the Leafs. I grew up here. My dad has taken me to games all growing up, so I can't root against them, and it'd be nice to see them win. I mean, the city would go nuts just like it did for the Raptors this year.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It would be nice with the Leafs. But do I think he's going to stay? I think he's going to stay. I don't see him going anywhere else. I see that like Columbus is offering him or wanting to offer him. I just don't see that he's going to give up playing at home in the big cities. I mean, he walks around. Everybody knows who he is. I just don't see him giving that up for $500,000 or $1 million, or I don't know the exact numbers. Whatever it is, I think that they'll be able to work something out, and I think better reward to play with guys like Austin Matthews, John Tavares, than to go to one of these smaller markets that's got 4 first-round picks to give the Leafs and all this money, and then it's Mitch Marner and nobody else. So I think we're going to see him stay.
I definitely think so. I know Frederik Andersen's hoping that he gets some more capable backups. Maybe doesn't have to face as much rubber as he did the last couple of years, as he might run out pretty soon. No offense to Sparks or Hutchinson. It's kind of a rough go when you look behind. If the Leafs ever lost Andersen due to a long-term injury, there's an F word that would really express the word that I want to use if they were in the spot that they would be. Frankie, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on by. I won't keep you too much. I already did go into a little bit of overtime here, but that's fine. We had some great content to talk about. I want to say thank you for coming on by the show, my friend.
Thanks a lot for having me, Dave. Appreciate it.
Of course. And that was Frank Palazzese. It's Dave McCaig here on the Game Sports Show. We've got more sports talk coming, so make sure you don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Game.
The Game Sports Show wants to thank its original home, partner, and sponsor since 2015, SportsCenter Bar and Grill, named the Sioux's best sports bar for 3 years in a row. SportsCenter Bar and Grill is located on 624 Wellington Street West in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Make sure to come on down to SportsCenter to enjoy the great atmosphere with great cold beverages available, including those delicious Molson products. Don't forget about their famous 75-cent wing nights on Wednesdays. They're truly the best wings in town. Like and follow SportsCenter on Facebook at SportsCenter SSM. We look forward to seeing you today. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
You can follow The Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram at The Game Sports Show.
Hey, it's Frankie Palazzese, former professional goalie and current goaltending coach. and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Cities' only local, regional, and national sports show. It's your host, David McCaig, alongside again and joined by Alex Parr outside here at Pier 55. Some delicious beer that we're having right now. And I got corrected by numerous people, including yourself, Alex. Fandom.
Yes.
It's not fanism. Okay, fanism was used on a sports article, but I may have referenced the wrong article. It was used, but if you search fanism, Urban Dictionary comes up first. So fanism was used, but it wasn't used in the content that I tried to use it, and it's fandom that I should have used. So there's my blew it moment.
Urban Dictionary goes, when a person becomes a fan of someone or something on Facebook for an unknown reason. Ooh, that would be completely misconstrued to the way we were trying to use it.
Yeah.
But that's Urban Dictionary. What do they know?
Yeah, I don't know what they know.
No.
So I'm actually going to say my fanism word was a right word to use, but it's not really a word.
You're going to live and die by it, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to use it some other time down the road. So fanism or fandom, either way.
We're here. We said it. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we're allowed to do it.
Okay.
We can say what we want.
If you want to say not fanism, make your own show.
I like that. The Game Sports Show brought to you by Sault Online, ONNTV, and, of course, ESPN. ESPN 1400 and Sovereign Communications as well, being a partner on the Game Sports Show, along with many other sponsors, including Northern Superior Brewing Company, obviously, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Lots, big list, and we'll get to that when we thank our sponsors at the end of the show. We've had a great show thus far. We had some local recap with some bonus in the pocket content. We had some baseball prior to that with the Game Sports Show Renegades, got a little plug in. Then we had professional baseball at the end of part one, where we talked about Vlad and we talked about Marcus Stroman. Then we obviously had Frankie Palazzese. Great interview with Frankie. I want to say, Frank, thank you for coming on by. Excited to have you a guest in the future. He's doing a lot right now. Very busy man. And it was a longer interview than I expected, 20 or so minutes, but we kept listeners entertained. I felt so. Hopefully you enjoyed that interview. For part three, we're going to keep it short and brief, as promised, because now here on the Game Sports Show, we have time deadlines. When you have newer sponsors, including ESPN, when they come in, you got to clean up a couple things on your show, and you have to watch the time, especially is one thing. And if anyone knows me, talking too much is definitely a thing. So, Alex, get into kind of the brief time that we have. First thing we'll jump into, James Neal and Milan Lucic get traded for one another, and there's a conditional third as well thrown in the trade. Battle of Alberta make a trade. Earlier in the year, you have the Battle of Ontario. Not early in the year, it was early in the offseason, with Zaitsev and Brown going over, and you have Cody Ceci coming back, but now you have Neal and Lucic. First off, these rival teams are making trades. Does it really help the Oilers or Flames? Or are they just trying to make this trade to rejuvenize one of or other's career? Because now Dane Hancho, who's another panel member of the show, as people may know, he's here from September until April. Very excited about the trade, is he, with Milan Lucic getting moved, and Neal. He thinks Neal's going to score 30 or 40 with McDavid. Every Oiler fan is literally in arms saying this kid's going to get 30, 40 goals. Listen, he does have that capability, but Oiler fans are starting to become Leaf fans, and no offense to Dane, don't get too excited. So you got to relax. You got to take it from somebody who knows, who's had a lot of heartbreak as a Leaf fan. Wait until you see him play. But
David Clarkson.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. What can you grade the trade between the Oilers and the Flames?
Whose side am I grading it for? Because I do like this trade a lot more for the Oilers than I do the Flames. Lucic moaned and whined and cried about Edmonton and how he did not like it, gets moved. But I don't think Lucic is going to play any better in Calgary. I think Neal can play better in Edmonton. You throw him with Draisaitl, you throw him with McDavid. I mean, the guy scored, 40 goals once. Last year was the first time he scored single-digit goals in a season since 2010-2011 when he only played 20 games. Before that, it's 25, 23, 31, 23. If you're telling me you can't score an easy 20 goals with McDavid,
True.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Neal will do better. He's still, a 35, 36-year-old at the end of his career. So saying 30 or 40 is a little preposterous. I think that's way out there.
Yeah.
But for Lucic, I think in today's game, if you can't skate and your feet start to drag behind other players, you're done for.
I think so. Now I think he'll fit in nicely on the fourth line. A little agitation for Calgary, but that's what they're trying to get back.
Expensive fourth liner, though.
So expensive.
It's not. How many years is left on Lucic's deal? Do we know?
I believe it's 3. I know we'll get producer Ghost on that, but I believe it's 3 years on that contract, but I know there was some retention in the trade as well. We're going to fully dissect the trade once we talk about it on Tuesday at Brief. But once you have that kind of trade, I think Ken Holland was strapped, right? You have a situation where you're like, okay, we have a guy who is absolutely not, staying the course that we predicted. Okay, right now the Calgary Flames, the cap hit for Lucic is 5.25. The retained salary from the Oilers is $750,000 that the Oilers retained in the contract.
They did not have to keep much. Good for Edmonton.
Now, he is locked up until the end of 2022-2023 season. So he has this year, the following year, the year after, and the year after. That's 4 years. So I stand corrected.
Now in 4 years' time.
And he has a no movement clause throughout the entirety of it. Until the last 2 years, it has a modified no trade clause, which means that he has to provide a list. Makes it more difficult to trade. His cap hit was $6 million. He signed a 7-year deal, $42 million with the Oilers originally. The Vancouver, British Columbia native is 31 years old, and he's 6'3", 231 pounds of pure grit and non-skill. Has been what I've read.
Yeah, the tweet that I shared too, I apologize for whoever I'm stealing this from, that said, I thought the no movement clause in Lucic's deal was referring to a style of play. And that made me laugh because I can't even imagine Lucic trying to skate in 4 years' time from now. There's no way.
No, and you know what? I'm not in the National Hockey League. I didn't make it. I was traded amongst the 3 Algoma teams a couple of times, so I even got the name Suitcase because of that from someone who's really familiar with Sovereign Communications, the one and only Randy Russin. So I understand that I didn't make the National Hockey League, nor did Alex, nor did most of us maybe listening. But you know what? You have I have eyes. And to pay someone that much money is absolutely insane. The Oilers, had to pay $5.75 for Neal, plus they retained $750 for Lucic.
How long is Neal's deal?
Neal's deal is at the end of 2022, 2023, same as Lucic. So the Oilers, actually, at the end of the day, are paying more money to have James Neal.
I think I would do that as well, though.
But yes, because you get another 31-year-old who they expect can retake what he was. He's an Ontario boy, also 6'3", 212, a little bit smaller than Lucic, but he's a lot more purified when it comes to scoring. And at the end of the day, when you put him with Connor McDavid, I'm sure he's going to be in better hands than if he wasn't really playing with Monahan, and he's not really fit the bill of playing with Tkachuk. I think McDavid giving him the puck may change things, but 30-40 goals.
McDavid giving anybody the puck will change a lot of things.
Heck, we'd probably score 10 goals.
10 goals might be a bit, but I think we can manage 10 points.
10 points, yes.
All you'd have to do is accidentally have it go off your shin pad and go in the net.
Like Doug Glatt right off the ass.
Yep, exactly. Or just get absolutely trucked behind the net and have McDavid pick it up coast to coast, 200 feet. Goal.
He's literally the most purified talent best talented hockey player I've ever seen.
Ever.
It's unbelievable. It's
not
next thing, Ron Francis.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ron Francis named the 32nd general manager in history, or 32nd GM, the first general manager of Seattle.
Nice.
That's what I meant. There it is. Nameless Seattle right now, and we are going to talk about that more on Tuesday as you and I are going to debate some names that we think, and we're not going to tease what we think right now. I've already kind of did a couple months ago, so if you want to hear what mine was, you're going to have to go down the page on Podbean quite a bit to really see where we think it's going to be. But Seattle, really dependent. They're hoping to be like Vegas was. It's going to be a lot different. Okay, it's not going to be the same. Trust me, I don't think it's going to be the same, but nor do I think Seattle's going to suck. I don't think, and I want to say the word suck because that's the best word to use for it. I think they're going to be like a middle team of the way they can draft, but I don't think there'll be as many players available either in next year's draft. But the person that gets to pick it is from Sault Ste. Marie.
Putting Sault Ste. Marie on the map.
Yes, 2 general managers in the National Hockey League.
Wow.
Dubas and Francis.
I never thought about it that way.
Dubas and Francis.
Yeah,
that's been freaking-tastic.
Yeah, I don't know if Seattle will come anywhere close to Vegas because I think it'll be a long, long time before we see in any of the 4 major sports an expansion team go to the finals in their first year. That was like Disney couldn't have wrote that kind of stuff.
Couldn't.
And Vegas is also not a part of the expansion draft. So when Seattle has to pick players...
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're not.
Vegas doesn't have to give up anybody. I don't like that rule.
I don't like that at all.
I think I would have put Vegas in the fire. Like, okay, you guys are doing pretty well for yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pure bullshit. Sorry, I'll swear. I only get limited swears, so I'll take the one right there.
How many do we get?
I don't even know.
Okay.
Limited. I don't know what that means. Does that mean 1?
Yeah.
What's that mean on Sault Online on ONNTV? I think Sault Online's 0.
0, yeah.
We get
We've
0.
got to keep it pretty PG.
I know if the ass thing swears or slips once, I think that's a lot. There's a little slap on the wrist. That's about it. But I'll say right now, once you have Ron Francis there, I think that's the right guy they hired. I know with him being there, he's going to be a very good GM. I'm excited to see who they bring as a coach.
They have a lot of things that still need to fall into place. It was kind of weird. They had to ask for permission to hire a general manager so early on. I think it was 6 months ahead when they actually needed it, so they had to ask for special permission. So this must be the guy they believe in.
Yeah, this is the guy that they want. Legendary hockey player. Seattle just looks up his stats. He's third most, the third top.
Fourth? I think he's fourth for points.
Fourth, yeah, now he's fourth for
Yager
points.
passed him.
Yeah, it's right. Good old Jaromir Yager, who's still kicking it in Europe,
yeah,
by the way.
I can't believe it, man.
Guy's a stud.
He said before.
Sleeping with his teammates' wives, too. Remember that story?
Yep.
Yeah, and
or sleeping with the 18-year-old model, and she said, I'm going to take this picture of us in the same bed, and I'm going to post it everywhere unless you give me money. He goes, I don't care. Rolls over and goes back to sleep. She's 18, man, so.
Yeah, she was of age. He didn't give a damn. Go ahead, post whatever picture you want.
What a beauty.
Literally. I think that's a guy that I would love to sit down with and give him the mic and let him share stories.
I'd love to party with that guy.
Yeah, and he could still party.
Yeah. If you're playing hockey at 563, you can probably still party.
Yeah, and he is old.
Yeah, was he 46 now? 47?
Yeah, and he's still playing. That's insane. To play hockey in this day and age with that speed out there, absolutely insane. One person that we won't be seeing coming back this year is Pavel Datsyuk, which is very sad. I would like to see the Magic Man come back, but thank God it's not with the Wings. But while we sit here, speaking of the Wings, there's one player who's still not signed. His name's Mitch Marner. The Wings, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Islanders, those three teams that I keep an eye on daily to see who's going to submit that offer sheet, but apparently Columbus is out because they just can come to terms. But I will say it, and I'll say it again. Anything under 10.5, Toronto will match. Anything over, they will not match. And if Dubas matches anything over 10.5, I think that'd be almost foolish.
And Marner won't sign with another team if it's for anything less than McDavid money. He would have to be backed into a corner where it would be that dumb financial decision for him not to take it. And that ain't going to happen because he's not going to make more than McDavid.
No.
He will sign with the Leafs. He wants to be with the Leafs. Every team that's approached the Leafs knows Marner wants to be with the Leafs. This is not a story. Marner will be in blue and white October 2nd against the Ottawa Senators.
Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I know, right?
Basically, they'd be given some of our salary cap dumps over the years. Phaneuf, now Zaitsev. Connor Brown's not a salary dump, though.
A little bit of a salary dump.
Clean up some money. We traded Marlowe. No, I say we because I'm putting the Leaf general manager hat on for a second.
I do that, too. I got to stop that.
We do.
Not bad Leafs. I hate the
But,
Leafs.
Hey, we cover the Leafs, the Sens, and Montreal for our portion for our great partners on ESPN. But obviously everyone knows we have a Leaf segment. Obviously knows who I'm a fan of but as a host, we give everyone all the airtime. Especially now having Craig on the show, who is part of the Columbus Blue Jackets. We have two people that are involved with Columbus, which is absolutely Columbus actually with the team, then one person who just covers the Columbus area, and EJ Russell. So all that coverage is absolutely amazing. But that's been our hockey discussion. Alex, everything that we kind of jumped into. We're about 13 minutes in. We're going to get to wrapping up the show because we have our time constraints, obviously.
Quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty. That is actually what we call the quick and dirty segment. We have said that before.
Really?
Yes, that's been a couple years we've been saying that. Once it's our shortest show that we've had is 21 minutes.
How? Why?
I don't know how, which is a great question that I will never have answered for you.
When they're doing the documentary on the rise and fall of Dave McCaig,
the big fall.
Yeah.
Guy who figured he'd be up here, and then he took a big fall and lost everything. His house, his truck.
The Wolf of Wall Street, but of sports media.
Yes, I like that. It's Dave McCaig here along with Alex Parr outside here at the Pier, Pier 55. We're at the Pier.
Enjoying a beer.
Thank you. I like that. I should have had that just posted somewhere else. And our bannerless appearance right now, which will change next week. And the you blew it moment for me was fanism and fandom.
Yeah.
No.
Kind of cringy.
And thumbs up this week for our show. I think Alex will agree. Ronnie Francis.
Yeah. I want to give one to Vladdy, too.
Oh, okay.
Grand Slam.
Right. You can give, I
got two hands, right?
Yeah, you can give your own, too. I should say that. So you have yours. You want to give one to Vlad. I'm going to give one to Ronnie Francis. Or say Ronnie Franchise.
Yeah, I was going to use that nickname, too.
He gets to run his own franchise now. Very excited to see that. Soon native Ron Francis. Give us your reaction to our show below if you have any kind of interest in terms of arguing with one of us or literally giving your feedback. Don't hesitate. Comment below.
Yeah, let us know if we're stupid, if you think we're stupid.
Or if you want to just comment back, just be like, no, Ronnie Francis is going to be brutal.
Yeah?
Marcus Stroman will not get traded.
Or you want to give us a pat in the back and say we're right about everything. I mean, we'll take that too.
Or don't hesitate to give us a follow.
Ooh, definitely don't.
Our
do that.
followers have grown a lot over the past week because of our great contest giveaway. Congratulations once again to John Edwards and Sarah Dubois for winning our contest giveaways. We'll have more. We do have our bonus giveaway draw that we do plan to give away on ONNTV Sault Online to be announced.
Ooh.
It's going to be all of a sudden someone's going to get a good tag on TV or a tag on social media and they'll be like, what did I win? That bonus prize.
A brand new car.
Imagine. We can't afford that yet.
Yeah,
maybe.
if we can give away cars,
I'd probably keep it. Yeah, I'm going to probably keep it first if I can keep a car. Yeah. It's been the Game Sports Show here outside Pier 55, brought to you by ESPN, ESPN 1400 and Sovereign Communications, Sault Online, ONNTV, and Northern Superior Brewing Company. Give a shout out to our additional sponsors, Sports Center Bar and Grill, Icebreaker Sports Bar, Discover the Canvas, the Salon, the Superior Pro Shop, Big Brother, Big Sister, Northern Quitters in Need, and of course North Shore Sports and Auto. And they got some great CDs. I know I want one. Ryan, Jordan. Some family love there. I need a nice Sea-Doo to rip around the water, maybe to promote North Shore a bit more. But you got to get there, check out their Sparks, check out their 3-seaters. They got some great products there. North Shore Sports and Auto. Make sure you go check out down there. And also, as I mentioned, the ESPN. We got our ESPN version of our show, the official one on Monday. That'll be tomorrow. And all the shows are brought to you by ESPN. But however, we're figuring out tomorrow might be in the Sovereign Communication ESPN studios or might not be. But if not this week, next week is almost a certainty that we're going to be inside the ESPN studios. So that'll be all lined up for you. But don't forget, we are there 6 o'clock sharp. So make sure if you check out our Podbean page, social media for any updates. Alex, thanks for coming on by today, my friend.
Always a blast. Love doing this. Love putting my opinions out there on the line for people on the internet to roast.
And people like us together.
Yeah. I like us together.
Yeah, I like us together too. Everyone gets very jealous of us, our chemistry.
Wow.
Our love.
Everyone?
Our love. Everyone. 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 If you know what I'm saying. All right.
I don't know if I do anymore.
I don't know. But make sure this week, check out our shows. Be myself, Alex, Justin, Jamie, the whole crew will be all part of the show. Scott, EJ, Butch. A lot of fun things coming this week. We will be interviewing Zach Turquato this week. And we'll be interviewing Brett Finley, who'll be going overseas to Europe as well. So we'll be making sure that we have those interviews this week, and we'll have it either on the Sunday show or Tuesday show. We like to spread out and keep everyone, because we do a lot of pre-recording because of everyone's time. But whoever knows, they might even be live on location. So make sure you keep an eye on everything you need for the Twin Cities only local regional national sports show. Again, thanks to Alex. Thanks to everyone here at Pier 55, including Jeff DeCorpo and Blake Winter as well as Andy, who does a great job here as well. And Alex, you helped me set up the soundboard. Seems like you'll be good if I ever need to get you to sub in.
I'm trying to learn.
Scott Nason, thanks for being the main board operations, and I am the assistant board operations. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend that you have left, and enjoy your work week. I'm back to work this week.
How you feeling about that?
Okay, no comment.
Okay.
No
Not
comment.
at this time.
My bosses might be listening. They know exactly what that means now. Yeah. See you Monday.
Bring him a coffee or something.
Yeah. Dave McCaig signing off here for Alex as well in the Game Sports Show, Twin Cities only local regional national sports show. And I'm here to remind you, listeners, to keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.